So it's Senegal against Algeria, the massively anticipated international friendly. In fact, the Senegal manager Aliou Cisse said that the whole of Africa was waiting for this game. It's a repeat of the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations final. It's also a really good opportunity to see how Algeria get against not just one of the best sides, the best side in Africa by a mile, sweeping up all the continental competitions. And of course they are the reigning champions up against the prior reigning champions from 2019, Algeria. So the last two champions of Africa going up against each other head to head. And funnily enough, they even met in the Chan final, completely different set of players. But of course, Senegal were victorious in that one in Algeria as well. So just like the 2019 AFCON final, it's still Cisse in charge of Senegal. It's still Belmadi in charge of Algeria. And there's been a lot of stick off the back of that 0-0 against Tanzania going Belmadi's way because of a potentially disappointing performance. And even some people suggesting that Belmadi is not the right man to lead Algeria to the Africa Cup of Nations. What a load of rubbish, what a load of nonsense. Listen, Belmadi is the man. He is that guy. He has delivered an Africa Cup of Nations title. Get behind the manager. He's come out and said the reasons behind the Tanzania result is that he literally fielded an under-23 side in that game, bar Isamandi. He said that none of the outfield players had played for Algeria prior to 2019, apart from Isamandi, hence why he was the captain in that game. He's right to an extent. Listen, if you don't test players against meaningless home qualifiers when you're already qualified at home to Tanzania, when are you going to test them? And ultimately, that's what Belmadi's trying to get across. Algeria have qualified. That's the main objective. And even with testing players in the last couple of games, Algeria, more points than any other side in the entirety of the AFCON qualifiers. They finished on 16 points. No side got 16 points. And if we won that with a main team, we'd have been on 18 points, 100%. So 16 points for Algeria, more than any other side. Senegal got 14. Mali, Egypt, Nigeria got 15. Algeria, top of the pile with 16. Same way with the World Cup qualifiers we failed to get to. Algeria were the top scorers in African World Cup qualifying, yet weren't one of the 5 that made it. So the statistics say that Belmadi's side are performing. Just a lot of nonsense. Some of these fake journalists, it's just complete rubbish. He is the man for the job. Instead of criticising Jamel, get behind Belmadi and you will see results. He chose to resign and the FA wanted to keep him on. And now he wants to deliver the third star, the second trophy of his reign. So let's get behind him. And speaking of weakened lineups, you're not going to see one here. Algeria are going to go as full strength as they can. Only thing stopping them is the injuries that they have picked up prior to this international break. The likes of Benassa, Houssam Aouar, unavailable for selection. Algeria arriving in Dakar today. The game is tomorrow, Tuesday, the 12th of September. Evening kickoff in Dakar. It's a lovely stadium they've got in Senegal, by the way. I'm sure the atmosphere will be good as well. Important for Algeria to try themselves, and Belmadi said this as well. We want to play the best. We want to test ourselves against the best. Listen, to win an AFCON, you've got to play the best at some point, whether that be in the group stage or later on, and you've got to beat the best. And that's what Algeria did. They beat Senegal in the group phase, and then they beat them again in the final. We've got a cracking record, a really good record against Senegal. And of course, Baghdad Bounedjah, is he going to be fit to start this game? Will he even start this game? He's the man that Senegal probably couldn't stand for a couple of years until they beat Egypt in that penalty shootout nearly 2 years ago. So Algeria will play their main team, but who is that going to be? We're earing towards maybe Mandrea, but if Zugba does start this, it's 100% wholeheartedly Zugba is the number 1 for Algeria. If Mandrea starts this, he's wholeheartedly the number 1 for Algeria. It's got to be. Mandrea started the last game. He kept a clean sheet. I don't think the goalkeeper position is one you're going to want to rotate too much. I'd love to see Mandrea against top-level opposition. Zugba's going to face the likes of Mane, Ronaldo, Benzema anyway playing in the Saudi Pro League. I want to see what Mandrea can do. So I would start personally Mandrea in goal for this one. I think Ait-Nouri will keep the left-back position. Right back, you're going to see a welcome return of Youssouf Altala, who hasn't played against Senegal that much, remember, because yes, he played them in the group phase of the AFCON. In the final, he was injured. Mehdi Safan came in. Altala and Ait-Nouri are quick. So against the likes of Mane, Sarr, Nicholas Jackson, we have got the pace to compete with those players. Ben Sebaini almost certainly will come in at centre-back, probably at left centre-back. And that's assuming he plays a back 4. He might go to the back 5 again. Who's the other centre-back going to be? Could play Mandy there again. Could play Tuba could play two-guy. We shall wait and see. The midfield, Kadri was very impressive for me in the last game. Zorgan, not so much, and Abdelli somewhere in the middle. I would play, well, I think it will be Boudaoui, Zerouki, and Feghouli. If Kadri plays with maybe Zerouki and Boudaoui, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But Feghouli, Zerouki and Boudaoui, I'd be interested to see if Sofiane Feghouli could still perform at this level. Of course, he scored in that Africa Cup of Nations competition that Algeria won. So he is a very important player in this side, but just not in recent years because he's getting a little bit older. But he's brought him in. We've seen him do it before. He brought Guardiola back for the Cameroon games. He brought Feghouli back, I'm sure not just to make up the numbers. Feghouli, Boudaoui, Zerouki. I'd love Kadri to start again as well. Front three, Mahrez will probably be captain again on the right. Left-hand side, I think he'll play Benrahma. I think Benrahma will play, and up front will probably be Amora or Bounedjah. I don't think Bounedjah is fit. He could play Amora left, Bounedjah up front, and Mahrez on the right. I would like to see Benrahma, Amora, and Mahrez start a game. Again, Amora's got great pace against the likes of Koulibaly and Sabali, so I'd like to see that happen. Whatever happens, it's going to be a cracking game. Algeria will perform better than the last game. The players we're starting will be better. We will raise our game because we cannot play that poorly again. Now, and a lot of the Algerian people want to see, can we still go toe-to-toe with the best on the continent? Because we don't usually play the top sides. We've been playing the likes of, with respect, Tanzania, Niger, Uganda, these sorts of guys. Can we go toe-to-toe away? And remember, Senegal, not a million miles away from Abidjan. It'll be a little bit like playing the AFCON. If we were playing Ivory Coast at the AFCON, it'll be a little bit like this. Let's see how we do away from home. We rarely play away from Algeria in the recent couple of years. Really intrigued to see how Algeria get on. But I actually think Algeria want to prove a lot of people wrong. And even if we lost this, if we lost and played well, I don't think it will be the end of the world. So I think this game will be 1-1. I think we've got to go there. We've got to show good performance now because this is what it's all about. If we go to Dakar and get twatted 4-0, it's going to not bode well at all for the Africa Cup of Nations because it's going to basically say we cannot get anywhere near the best. That means you play a Senegal, you play an Ivory Coast, you play a Morocco, you play in Egypt, we're going to get battered. We've got to go there and prove a lot of people wrong. This is a very good Senegal team. This is a team that beat Brazil not too long ago. And proper Brazil, by the way, not B-team Brazil, they beat proper Brazil. So they're a very, very good side. It's going to be a tough game. I don't think we're going to have a lot of the ball. You look at the midfielder Senegal can play. You look at some of their ball-playing players. They're probably better than ours, considering our best ones, Benassa and Awar, in the midfield are missing. We might have to be very physical and get in their faces, but it's going to be a good game. It's two teams that have got mutual respect for each other. Nicholas Jackson, his first big African football game, because remember, Senegal, in their final AFCON qualifier, they went even more extreme than what Algeria did. They named a completely different squad. They drew 1-1 to Rwanda, didn't even play in the same squad. And they drew the game. So a bit like us, we drew to Tanzania with a weakened team. They drew to Rwanda with a weakened team. So similar boats, fresh players. Let's see how we get on. Because if Belmadi goes there and wins the game, it's going to shine a lot of people up. But I want to see players playing well. A lot of players fighting for their shirt. Big game for Amora if he starts because he's got to really score against a big team for me. He went to the last AFCON, didn't play a single minute, and will most certainly go to this one. But is he good enough to start? Big game for Benrahma. He's got to step up. Bounedjah and Mahrez know all about playing Senegal. So does Feghouli. Let's see how the team gets on. All in all, I think it's going to be a cracking game. Probably the first of three friendlies. Algeria will look to play Senegal, and then maybe Egypt and another in October. And then it's a couple of World Cup games in November. Then it's a tournament in January. So let me know your score predictions in the comments down below for Senegal Algeria. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Drop a like if you are. Subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.